Hey guys, I'm back, kind of. Yeah, I've been sick ever since the Vader fan film happened, the premiere at least. I started, developing a cold since that day, and then it gradually got worse and dealing with holiday parties and being sick all throughout the rest of December. And now I'm feeling better, so now I'm back. I wanted to talk about the Vader fan film and my experiences with the Vader fan film, but I'm gonna wait and see because I got interviewed a while back. I don't know what's happening with that with the film, but I wanted that to happen first before I ever talk about my personal experiences. So there's that. I wanted to talk about the Asus ROG phone again, which is an amazing phone. I've been using it for about a month now. This back is a fingerprint magnet, but it still looks cool. So basically, I want to talk about a new update that happened. The battery is also amazing. AI smart charging batteries are really good. I am not sponsored by Asus anyway, although I wish I was, quoting JonTron. But basically, what the AI smart charging does, this isn't the main thing I was trying to talk about here, or wanting to talk about here, but I'll talk about it real quick. Basically, AI smart charging, what it does is it'll charge the phone. It has quick charging, so it charges the phone to 85%. Then it determines your plugging in and unplugging habits of charging to slow down or speed up the charge between 85% and 100%. So basically, like, maybe you charge it overnight and it'll determine when you wake up by stopping the charge at 85% and then charging the rest up before you wake up. And then once you wake up, it's at 100% and it's not overcharging dramatically overnight, at least, So it's cool. I usually, since it's quick charging, typically when you charge your phone, between 40% and 85% is where you want to keep it. So typically once it hits 40%, I just charge it back up to 85, maybe 90 to 95%, determining if I forget about it, and then just charge it, that. And typically I charge my phone once every other day, sometimes every 2 days, and the battery is so big that basically a phone's supposed to have 600 charge cycles, but if you maintain that good charging habit, you can double it to about 1100 to 1200 charging, especially if you're charging it every 2 days. If you're not extensively using your phone, if you charge it every 2 days, this phone can last you upwards of 4 years, theoretically speaking, which is pretty intense. The new update I wanted to talk about, though, is, now you guys are familiar with X mode. But the thing that's cool is when you use X mode, when you turn it on, right, everything turns red, and then the RGB light comes on in the back. Now, the reason why it hasn't come on in the back is because they updated it and actually changed it. So basically what it is you don't need X mode to have RGB enabled anymore. So basically what you do is you scroll down and you can turn this little light, this little switch on, and it'll turn on the RGB light, right? And then when you turn off your phone screen, it turns off the light. Before, it just stayed on. When you have X mode on, you turn off your screen, it still stays on. So the RGB light isn't bound to X mode anymore. It's kind of just its own thing. It's still in the Game Center menu, but now the features where it comes to X mode default, changing the color cycle or breathing, or what you want the RGB lighting to do is still there. Same thing with incoming calls, notifications, and charging. You can use this light to determine if the phone's charged or if you have a notification if you want. Now, I don't like using this light because I have this feeling in the back of my head that it's using more battery power than it should be. So I typically leave it off for the most part, unless basically days if I go to conventions and stuff, I won't use the light. But on a normal day, I'll turn it on sometimes. But basically, yeah. So you turn it off, So basically, it's not bound to the gaming mode anymore. So now you can just turn on Aura lighting, and you can sync Aura light. Aura light, desktop PCs have Aura lighting, so you can actually sync this phone up to your PC and have the light fluctuate, determining on how you set it up on your PC, which is pretty cool. But basically, that was one new feature that I recognized that this phone has, is basically the Aura lighting is its own entity and not bound to X mode anymore. I feel like it should have been like that to begin with, but I couldn't figure it out, and now it's not. So, and it even says 48 hours remaining on the battery life, because I think it's just determining that, because I don't game with this phone that often, just because there isn't really any big games that I want to play on it just yet. I play Asphalt 9, it's a cool racing game, I guess, and Pokemon Go. But yeah, so that's how the Aura lighting works. Now you don't have to have it on X mode, basically their overclocked mode, in order to have RGB lighting. And once you pull it up in text and your light's on, people will be like, oh, what is that? Why do you have RGB lighting on your phone? Well, because I'm cool. Now, but yeah, so basically that's the small, cool little feature that they added to the phone. I just wanted to talk about that. I guess learning about the battery to me is the most important part, because I have battery life anxiety. I wouldn't know what to call it. I'm not diagnosing. I swear. But yes, so that's actually a really cool feature on the phone. I almost never use the RGB lighting, especially when you're using your phone. It's like facing this way. It's necessary to have. Don't forget that. RGB lighting is always necessary, especially when you're a gamer. But the only time you ever see your RGB light is if you turn the phone around and look at it. Or I guess if you want to impress somebody, or looking in a mirror or a camera, I guess. But like, there's no point in having it, unfortunately. But yeah. So that's what I wanted to talk about. The battery in itself is still incredible. It's been a month, still holds up the same. I wanted to keep up with making videos for this phone, just to keep you posted on how long this will last, and determining on, how long I have this phone for, which I plan on having it for at least 3 years. I will keep making long-term reviews for this phone. 1 month later, still good. So, and it's kind of obvious. Typically, you don't start noticing bugs, glitches, and battery draining until maybe after a year and a half, I would assume. Because obviously a month's not going to have any really different, anything different really. The only thing is I did have a system update, which I'm assuming put that RGB feature there. But yeah, so if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, well, then you don't like RGB. And thanks for watching.